What up, though? What up, though, y'all? It is another episode. We are back with another episode of Lions 411. We'll dive into a lot of things to talk about today for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, it's King Keith. You can follow me on Instagram _DrKingStream, Twitter, same thing. Pass it over to my co-host, and she'll let you know how you can follow the show.
What up, world? Welcome back to 411 Lions. You can follow us on 411 TikToks. We post clips of the podcast. So if you like what you see, you can follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. We are available. What day is it, man? Monday morning.
It is Monday morning. Yeah, it is the day after a very interesting slate of games. Good games in general. Shout out to NFL Red Zone. I know people were worried about the commercials and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't that bad, as I figured. But it was a lot of good games, especially in that early window. The late window obviously provides less games, but it did provide our team with the game. And our game didn't go very well.
Let's talk about it. Our game. Let's get to it. That's what they've been waiting to hear.
Yeah, the Lions did lose to the Packers 27-13. And even in the score kind of makes it sound a little closer than it was. It was 27-6, but 50 seconds left. Shout out to Tesla for catching his first pass, a one-handed 20-yard touchdown, which just fitting for him. But yeah, just was not a good game, man. There are a lot of things that didn't go well, but breaking down the stats, of course, Jared Goff completed a lot of passes and threw a lot of passes, but pretty much every pass was a check down. It was a 3 to 5 yard gain to one of the running backs. 14 of his 31 completions went to the running backs. Jahmyr Gibbs apparently set an NFL record for the least amount of receiving yards with 10 or more catches, which is fun, I guess. Yeah, it didn't go well on the offensive end. They didn't run the ball well at all. 46 rushing yards total as a team. Again, Jared Goff did throw for 200 plus yards, but most of them were check downs.
225.
Yeah, 225. One interception, which the interception was he definitely forced it, but he also had some pressure coming in on him, and the safety also did make an outstanding play. So kind of a little bit of everybody's fault on that play. But yeah, the offense really looked rough, and the defense, while they picked it up later on in the game, the Packers also, I think, kind of played a little bit conservative later on in the game. So they were getting torched a little bit. Jordan Love was having his way in the first half for the most part. Did shut down the run game. Josh Jacobs only had 66 rushing yards, which was nice, but
I believe he rushed for a touchdown, didn't he, though?
He did that.
Yeah.
Like, second to last drive, he really got things going. He was not having a good game at all, and then eventually the Packers kind of just started to wear the Lions down, like how the Lions wear other teams down usually. So, CB, what stood out?
Okay, so Detroit Lions, we played Green Bay Packers. Opening game in Lambeau Field may not have exactly went the way that we maybe thought it would. We maybe hoped it would. So Green Bay tops Detroit 27-13. Let's get into some stats that are very interesting. Time of possession, Detroit Lions, 35 minutes. Green Bay, 24. Total plays, Detroit had 65 total plays. Green Bay, 47. Third down conversion, Detroit, 5 of 15. Green Bay, 4 of 10. First downs, Detroit had 16 to Green Bay's 14. What? Detroit, we done won those battles. We didn't win the battle, man.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened, King Keith?
So I have a thought.
We might want to start in the trenches.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I definitely want to talk about the trenches, but before I mention that, I want to say, because you've mentioned it before, and I feel like I was kind of on the other side, but I'm coming a little bit more to your side. This team needs to play in the preseason, if I'm being honest. Like, last year, I didn't think they started very well. I know that they beat the Rams, but I don't think they executed that well in that game. And against Tampa Bay, it sounded a lot like how it sounded against Green Bay, where the Lions had more yards, where the Lions had the time of possession. They had all these things, but they only scored 16 points against Tampa Bay because they could not score in the red zone because they were out of sync. And what do we see today? A lot of them being kind of out of sync. They pushed the ball somewhat. The run game was not there at all. Which yeah, we'll definitely dive into that a little bit. But the pass game was able to dink and dunk and kind of get down the field a little bit. I don't think they were as successful as they usually are, but again, similar to that Tampa Bay game, they were able to get into some positions where they could have scored and they just did not look very well. First down plays not going well in the red zone. Second down plays not going well in the red zone. At that point, you got third and long. You got Micah Parsons coming on the field, pinning his ears back, and coming at the quarterback. That's how you saw that interception be thrown, for example, late in the second half. As you're in the third and long situation, Jared Goff forces the ball. Penei Sewell kind of gets beat there. Not like a bad beat, but enough of a beat to where Goff has to rush the pass. They look out of sync, and it's not a new thing for this team to look out of sync early in the season. The offense, the defense in particular, was a little bit surprising looking out of sync, but the offense, I guess I'm not surprised at them looking out of sync, but I'm surprised at them not challenging the Packers, which I think is another thing that stood out for people in this game. They, like I mentioned, the 14 passes to the running backs, I didn't see a single like deep shot. I didn't see any, at least a go ball, a one-on-one to JMO, to Tesla, somebody. Like, just throw a pass up. Like, see if you can get a 40-yard gain just out of luck. Maybe a DB falls down, something, a pass interference call. They didn't take any shots at any point in this game, which is just strange to see. I don't know how to explain that one. That one is all on Johnny Morton, and I don't know if Jared Goff has any reasoning for that. Obviously, the offensive line wasn't giving him a lot of time to throw, but
Oof.
they took a very minimal amount of shots. And like the stats that you mentioned bear it out, they held the ball, they ran a lot of plays, they had a decent amount of yards, but they just weren't efficient. They weren't successful. So yeah, that's concerning. But I will say on the bright side, I think a lot of the Lions' issues are fixable.
Yes, I'm gonna have to agree with that. I think the only thing I would only it's fixable, but maybe worry a little more. Maybe that offensive line.
Yeah.
We looked a little sleep yesterday. We gotta wake up. Gotta
Yeah.
wake up.
Yeah, the offensive line. So if we want to break down like areas of strength and areas of weakness, for me the biggest area of weakness absolutely was the offensive line, and particularly the interior of the offensive line. Penei Sewell did not have his best game either by far, but there was a lot of slipping and stuff going out on the field. I don't want to blame that because Green Bay is playing on the same field as us, so we don't have that excuse necessarily. But there was some plays where he slipped. It looked like he didn't have good traction, that kind of stuff. And Micah Parsons is really good. But I don't think he was like bad or overwhelmingly bad. And I didn't think Taylor Decker was necessarily overwhelmingly bad either. But the interior of the offensive line was awful.
Yeah.
There's not any other ways to sugarcoat it. And like we mentioned, it is fixable. It is correctable. I think a lot of the issues were communication. I think a lot of the stuff that happened on film was pretty obvious, and I do want to go to a play on film to kind of show exactly what was happening, because that play is not just one play. That play is indicative of a lot of the things that were happening throughout the game, but it seemed like the offensive line just was not on the same page with each other. Like, there were plays where guys were blocked, two guys were blocking one guy and nobody was blocking another guy. The play where Montgomery almost got took out on the safety, like,
That was ridiculous. When
I mean,
he thought he was going to juke and shake, I'm like, as soon as the ball said height, I mean, they said height.
yeah, but there's a guy in the backfield right at him, and you look
Yep.
at Pascal and Mahogany, and they're blocking one guy, and Ratley just coming over here, and Sewell's over here, and everybody's like, I don't know what the concept is. Maybe this was some kind of a trap play, some kind of a wham play. It did not work, whatever it was, and it was not a good idea to run it at the 1 yard line on a slippery field. Um, the offensive line just, it was bad. I mean, it was. I haven't got the chance to look at more of the pass game reps on the all 22, but I have looked at the run game. The pass game, no. I mean, we know it. Jared Goff cannot. With interior pressure, you just don't want to give him interior pressure. Like, he can step up in the pocket a little bit, but when you're forcing him to go right and left, that's when you start to run into issues. Like he's just not that kind of quarterback.
We saw it with that Micah Parsons sack when he was trying to run right. I said, oh my God. Just throw it away. Just throw it away. When
Yeah,
Micah Parsons was chasing him, just throw it away.
yeah, I agree, and I think Goff was trying to make a play. I do think that he was trying to make a play, but he just obviously is not a guy. It's very fleet of foot. And we're all watching it on TV like, oh my god, this is like a scary movie. It's like when Jason is chasing down a little girl and he's about to get her, and you're like, oh my god, they don't see it coming. It is frustrating, it is, but we know what kind of quarterback Goff is. We know what kind of pocket he needs to succeed, and he wasn't getting that.
He
And
needs a brick wall. He needs a brick wall.
he does, especially in the interior. And I just the Frank Ragnow loss is just it feels so big right now. We'll see. Again, the offensive line is going to need time to gel. But my biggest takeaway is they should have played in the preseason. They needed these reps because I think they're going to get better and they're going to get the communication and all that figured out. But there were so many plays where there just so many missed blocks. Um,
Especially with new players making the NFL debut mixed with your veterans. I think maybe the last two or maybe even the last game, but it you're right. The connection, it wasn't there. The in syncness that we usually see the last 2-3 seasons, it was not there at all.
Yeah, it wasn't, and I'll go to the play now in a second. But um, what Frank Ragnow does or did for this team, I think as far as the communication, I think as far as executing, I think as far as getting to the second level, um, just doing the things that offensive linemen are asked to do in the schemes that the Lions like to run. Um, it right now it looks like Grant Glasgow cannot do those things, and I think that the Lions started Tate Ratledge at center in training camp to see what he can handle. I think eventually that's going to have to be a job that he takes. Either Graham Glasgow is going to have to get a lot better, or Tate Ratledge is going to have to end up taking that. Tate Ratledge didn't play too bad yesterday, to be honest, but I think at some point the Lions are going to have to look into what a solution looks like. You got to give Glasgow some games. You got to give him some time. It could have just been rust. It could have been the communication issues, but there are some plays in particular, which, like I said, I'm gonna go to the film and I'm gonna show y'all exactly what I'm looking at here.
Don't mind if you do.
So this is courtesy of NFL Pro All 22, of course. Um, I want us to look at. I don't know if it's gonna let me full screen it. I want us to look particularly. Oh, it might look
Oh,
at Graham Glasgow here, right here at the center position. Now it's gonna be harder to see on this view, but just watch what his job is. I'll let you know what his job is. He needs to get here to block to the next level. That's going to let Jahmyr Gibbs get into the middle of the field and do what Jahmyr Gibbs does. Now, don't worry. We'll get a second view to really make it clear here because the end zone view really tells it all. Center. What are we going to do here? We're going to get to 7. We're going to block them. Oh, no, we're not actually.
Mm.
And again, like I mentioned, that's not the first time that happened during the game. That wasn't the last time that happened during the game. It happened a lot where he has to get to the next level to block a guy, and he did it. He didn't make it to him. And again, I don't know if it's just the unfair position that he's being put in. I don't know if that was just an abnormal play that the Packers linebackers are making. I don't really think so. At least to get a chip on him, to get a body on him, to just completely whiff and let that guy just come up and hit Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, you're not doing the team any favors, and when you're putting them in situations like that, that's a problem. And again, that happened a lot yesterday. So
That definitely. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if he just needs more reps doing it, because he was playing right guard last year, or if this is going to be a season long issue, if they need to switch guys out. It can't happen though. It cannot happen consistently, and it did happen consistently. And the Lions have to be successful running the ball in order to be successful as an offense. That's the biggest problem. So I think it's fixable. That is the good side, is that I think it is fixable. How it's fixable, that's up to Hank Fraley. That's up to Johnny Morton. That's up to Dan Campbell. Might even be up to Brad Holmes. I have no clue. They got to figure out what we can do to make those plays successful. If those plays are successful, I think the Lions have a way better chance of winning that game, because I thought the Packers played good, but I think they kind of just came out fired up and kind of punched the Lions in the mouth a little bit, and the Lions were not able to respond the way that they usually are. So that's what I got to say about the offense. I think they'll come back and play better against Chicago, but they also have to do it.
Yeah, and when we see the next time we see Green Bay, we got to do better than this, Detroit. But it's the first. I'm not trying to make excuses. It is the first game. A couple players did make some NFL debuts. I didn't necessarily like the offensive or the defensive scheme, to be honest with you. I didn't like the offensive scheme. I don't think this is how we normally play scheme wise. We were, in my opinion, first half, a little bit too aggressive. I think we should have backed down up a little bit. But the second half, I did see some improvements, but I mean, we had already dug ourselves in the hole. I mean, with a team that was 11-6 made the playoffs last year, Green Bay. Now you add Micah Parsons and draft picks and this and that and Matthew Golden and pass rush, whatever. You can't go down 3-17 in the first half. We got ourselves in the hole early and we never were able to climb out. Now, we did have a glimmer of hope when Brian Branch had that interception, but then it got called back on the holding.
Yeah, which I wasn't the biggest fan of that holding call, but it is what it is. I thought it was a little bit soft, but regardless, I just, the defensive side of the ball, my biggest issue for the Lions was that we played, and it was the same issue with Aaron Glenn, so this is why I get a little bit annoyed when people are like, oh, the coordinators. Aaron Glenn runs the game the same way. They play too much man coverage, particularly in the first half. Like, yes, I get it. That's your scheme. That's what you want to do. That's what you feel like your strength is. The pass rush was not getting home. Even when they were blitzing, the pass rush was not getting home. You were leaving your DBs out to dry. I think Terrion Arnold could have played a better game. Absolutely. I didn't like the deep ball that he got beat on in particular. Not sure what he was doing in coverage there.
That 48-yarder. And he gave up, I believe, that touchdown in the red zone.
He did give up the touchdown. The touchdown was what I was going to touch on. As much as he obviously the coverage could have been better on that play, that is my issue with calling man coverage. It feels like almost every play is a team like the Packers, a team like the Chiefs, whoever, good teams with good offensive lines running them, they're going to run those pick plays, and they are almost impossible to cover full time. Eventually, guys are going to get open. Terrion Arnold's lined up in a slot, and he has to go around all these receivers, all these corners, all this traffic in order to get to Jaden Reed. Like, that's a really hard play to make. And I know there are corners that make that play, but that's a hard play to make. The Lions weren't passing anything off in the secondary. Like, they just were like, this is your man, stick to your man, cover him. I didn't like that. I don't think that anybody on the Lions team is stopping Jaden Reed on that play. I don't. So again, way too much man coverage, way too reliant upon the man coverage. I get that's their thing. I get that they feel like they got to line up against guys and just be aggressive and do all that. But the pressure was not getting home. Your corners are only going to cover for so long. They should have went to a little bit more zone coverage or mix things up. Then you got the pass rushers dropping into coverage, which I know is controversial. People have opinions about that. I don't mind Aiden Hutchinson doing it because Aiden Hutchinson has been successful in the past doing it. And I think that that's a little bit of people overreacting when they say, oh, you shouldn't do that at all. Hutchinson has gotten interceptions. We've seen him get interceptions dropping into pass coverage before. But Marcus Davenport, I think you're doing a little bit too much. When you're dropping Marcus Davenport 15 yards down the field, that's when you start to run into some issues.
I don't like that. And he only had 2 tackles, but that was probably some of the reason why.
Yeah, I thought that they were a little bit too, in the first half, I think they just were like, we're going to try and take it to these guys. We're going to shut them down. We're going to do this one-on-one. We're going to make these plays. And they weren't making the plays. And I think it took them a little bit too long to adjust after the Packers got to just picking apart the man coverage like that. Um, so I think the Lions gotta be a little bit more conscious of how often they run man, how often they send these linebacker blitzes because the linebackers are not getting home. Anzalone, Campbell, they were. I don't think they had bad games. They are good in run defense and in the pass coverage they can be fine, but um, they were not getting home on the blitzes at all. So yeah, the defense, I thought they kind of figured it out a little bit more in the second half, and I feel optimistic about them eventually kind of getting it together. But they got to put their safeties in a better position to make plays because Kirby Joseph was kind of never near the ball because they
Yeah,
were, but
he
it
was
was
non-existent, but it wasn't his fault.
yeah, they were targeting wherever he was not, and particularly in man coverage. Like they weren't really throwing balls too much over the top necessarily. If the Lions could play some underneath zones and force them to throw it over the top more, I think you'll get some plays that are made. Even a touchdown that Tucker Kraft caught. I know Brian Branch, you want him to make a play on that ball. I think 9 times out of 10 he does get there. Perfect throw, perfect catch. Branch was just a half step late. I'd rather see that play than the Terrion Arnold having to chase guys around a pick route. I don't think he's making that play 9 times out of 10. I don't.
Yeah, we definitely got some communication, and we definitely got. I would definitely say maybe, like you said, maybe not well, kind of scheme wise. I believe the Lions play man coverage. They said what 68, 69% of the snaps last year.
Yeah, I was trying to find the statistics from this game, particularly in the first half. I wasn't able to get them yet, but yeah, again, I get it. Like if that's your thing, that's your thing. But like at least keep a couple safeties back there. Like there were some plays where the play where Terry Arnold got beat, there was no safety back there, and I just found that really interesting. DJ Reed ended up coming over, but there was no safety back there, and I don't know. It was an interesting defensive scheme early on in the game. Again, I think they adjusted a little bit later on. Um, we'll see on that side of the ball. I think the Lions just need to be decent to good on that side of the ball. The offense got to figure it out though. That O line has got to figure it out.
Yeah, that O line got to figure it out. And with our 1-2 running back punch combined, rushing 44 yards, it's not gonna do it. It's not gonna do it. Jahmyr Gibbs, 10 receptions, what 30
30.
something yards.
Yeah.
It's not gonna do it. It's not gonna do it, Detroit. We way more explosive than this.
Yeah, and it's not like the Packers have these amazing stoppers on defense. Again, Xavier McKinney's a really good safety, and Evan Williams did make a great play on the ball, but the Lions didn't like seem to isolate guys very much. Like I really would have liked to see Jameson Williams just run a lot of routes one on one against Green Bay's corners. Um, and it didn't seem like that really happened. Sam Laporta made some plays, to be fair. I will give Sam Laporta credit. He had almost 80 yards receiving.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, the lack of aggressiveness, the inability to challenge the Packers, at least put some balls up there. I don't know. It's a lot to learn from this game, and I think that they will, but we'll see because the schedule is not getting much easier.
Yeah, because we got the Bears to play next.
Yeah, but the Ravens are like right after that.
The Ravens are in 2 weeks. I think we play Kansas City soon.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, it's not an easy schedule to start.
We got that high powered offensive firepower in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Which I think will beat, but they might hang a couple things upon us.
Yeah, the way I don't know. Well, again, we'll see. I don't know what version of this Lions team we're going to get in the next couple of weeks because the improvements on the offensive line have to be made first and foremost, and then I think defensively they got to be a little bit more versatile, a little less prideful, in the way that they attack teams on offense. But it's correctable. It is correctable. I know that everybody is like, oh, well, this is exactly what we expected from the Lions. They're going to regress due to the coordinators. I didn't think this was as much a coordinator issue. I do think Johnny Morton did not call a good game, but I think things kind of got blown up by the offensive line. So if they can get it together, then I think this team can get back to rolling where they're expected to be. But that offensive line is going to have to figure it out.
Oh yeah, that offensive line, I think that's going to be the key to this season. I don't know if We just need some better communication. Do we need to move some guys around? What we need to do? Right tackle, left tackle, center, which I need down. Okay, it's Detroit. We gonna handle this thing. We gonna handle this thing. But I wanted to get into something that you just touched on. What everybody is now saying. I've been reading some harsh comments, man. I've been reading some harsh comments that I've gotten y'all comments, TikTok and YouTube. They sent me a couple little packages yesterday.
Yeah, yeah, and the overreactions are going to be strong. They are. But mind you, this is a team that went 15-2 last year. People didn't see them lose a lot of games. They have not lost a lot of games in the past couple of years. And when they lose, people are going to be a little bit surprised. They're going to be like, "Oh, well, there's a reason why they lost," and they'll try and point to all these different things as the reason for why they lost. And I think people see that we put up 13 points, and they're like, "Oh, well, they scoring less points because Ben Johnson isn't here." And we'll see if time proves that that is an issue. But to me, the biggest issue was very clearly the offensive line, and particularly Frank Ragnow not being there. So we'll see. But maybe some people's comments, you get them off while you can. But I think this team is figuring it out at some point. I don't think a slow start is necessarily surprising.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Because I know we both had Detroit as our pick to win the NFC North. Does this change your pick?
No. Nope.
I'm the same way. Listen, we Detroit now. All grit, baby. Hop on
Yeah.
my bandwagon if you want to.
Yeah. Between the fact that the Lions' issues are correctable, and the fact that I didn't think Green Bay was like all that. I thought they played a good game. I thought that they were very fired up. But they also seem to be a team that kind of just. I think momentum is real. Some people don't think momentum is real. I think momentum is real, and it seemed like things were just kind of going their way. And I think they're good. I do think they're good, but I don't think that this game was necessarily indicative of what the season is going to bring. But we'll see. I mean, if the Lions come out in week 2 and they still can't block anybody, and they're still playing man coverage 80% of the time, because that is not going to work against the Bears. It's not. Caleb Williams is going to extend plays. DJ Moore is going to get open at some point. Like Roma Dunze is going to get open. Luther Burden is going to get open. Like they're going to have to be more versatile in the way that they play. But the run defense was strong. We haven't really mentioned that very much, but the run defense was very strong in this game. And I think it's only going to get stronger as the year goes on. So, yeah, we'll see. The Chicago game is going to be huge. It really is going to be huge, and it's going to mean a lot. But they might bounce back. They might hang 40 on the Bears and play good defense, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh, well, I guess Detroit's cool, actually."
So when do we play Green Bay back again?
I don't know. I just am glad that it's going to be at home. Like, I'm glad to get the Lambeau game out the way. I am.
You got the laptop in front of you? I want to look that one up. When we playing Green Bay again? Because obviously, I think with the media and the overreactions, like we were just talking about, I think that even if the Lions do go on to win, we go on a 4-game, 5-game win streak, everybody's still going to be like, okay, can we beat Green Bay when we play again? It's going to be kind of like a prove me deal.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think that that's what people have been waiting for, is that gotcha to have on the Lions, is that, oh, well, this is the team that you can't beat, or this is the thing that you struggle with. They do play Green Bay on Thanksgiving, so should be fun.
Okay. Thanksgiving. I don't really eat Thanksgiving food, but I will be excited for Thanksgiving, okay?
Yeah, should be an interesting game for sure. I mean, obviously the Lions will now be the team that's extremely motivated coming into the game. But again, we'll see what they figured out, what they have corrected since then. It is hard to beat a team twice in the same season, so it's it really is up in the air. I mean, I don't like to make too many judgments after week 1. I don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just week 1. We got some things obviously that we need to clean up, we need to improve, we need to correct. But I'm not just about to go running in the building, pulling every fire alarm I see. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's a grind, and I think that Dan Campbell has his team prepared for the grind. And I think that they know that this thing will probably be more of getting better as the season goes on compared to last year. It felt like as the season went on, they kind of wore down. I think that they would rather the other way around at this point. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. That's all I'll say is we'll see. But I expect an improvement in week 2.
Yeah, I definitely expect an improvement. Detroit, we all good. Stop with the worrying. Stop with the worrying. Now we lose maybe 3-4 in a row. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
yeah. If we lose to Chicago at home, that might be concerning. I'm not going to lie, and that's not because Chicago is bad. I am intrigued to see how they play tonight against Minnesota, but I think if they lose at home to Chicago, might be a little more alarms to start ringing.
right now we good. It Detroit Lions is still my NFC North pick. Because people been messaging me. So is Detroit Lions still your pick? You gonna change your pick now? Nope. I'm not changing my pick. I'm not coming up off Detroit, okay? I'm
Yeah,
not doing it.
yeah. I still feel good about the team. I feel good about the roster. I feel good about the coaches. I just again the issues that are correctable gotta be corrected, and I hope that they are on that practice field on Tuesday ready to go.
But all right. So to end it on a real note, so Detroit plays Chicago next Sunday, right? Is it
So
Sunday at 1?
1 o'clock game.
All right, Sunday at 1, that is our home opener. Obviously we expect to see the Lions fans out supporting their team, cheering, stomping hard, and we going to come back, rally this thing. It's still in Detroit I trust, baby.
Yes,
We'll
ma'am.
be back in a couple days.
Detroit versus everybody for sure.
All right. All right, so just want to wrap up the episode now, so you can follow us on TikTok, 411 Lions, anywhere you get your podcast, Amazon Music, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can follow us anywhere. Like, comment, tell us what you thought about this game.
Absolutely. Well, with that being said, we will see y'all later this week for a preview of the Chicago game.
Peace.
Peace.